Hello, my name's Jose. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my experiences with the user interfaces for most of the direct drive motors that are out on the market now. I had plenty of chances over the years to try different motors. I was able to take different motors, put them on the same car and track combination, almost back to back within the same day. So I was able to see a lot of different nuances between the software and the hardware itself. You know, for me, it came down to the software. It came down to when I was selling these things, I had to pick and choose what made sense for some people, and usually it came down to the software. I noticed that if you tune these things properly, most of them will give you a really good level of feedback. But again, it comes down to how easily can you navigate the software. And for some people that are trying to get the most out of it for competition or for whatever reason, there's pieces of software for that. And then for the type of people that don't want to deal with all of the technical stuff, then there's definitely software for that. I'm going to start off with the SimiCube TrueDrive software. It's what I'm most comfortable with. It's what I've been using now for a few years. And this is usually where I go when somebody asks me, what's the software that I can tune the most with? So I always feel that TrueDrive has the most customization in terms of what you could do with the force feedback. So I don't even know how many parameters, but there's quite a lot of parameters that you can tune. There's also the ability to import profiles. So I use the Daniel Morad profile on mine. So you can either do that, or you can also spend the time to tune around and play around with the different sliders until you find a force feedback setting that you like. The next one up is going to be the SimMagic system. And I always felt that this was the best value for money. The SimPro Manager software, it's been through several iterations now, and it's been, I think, only 2 years since it's been out on the market. But that SimPro Manager software, it looks good, it's easy to navigate, and it gives you a lot of information. You can tune a lot of parameters for the force feedback. You can run stuff like the LEDs, you can run stuff like the RPM LEDs, and you can also put telemetry on some of the buttons. A lot of the pieces of software will also run the dual clutch system, so you can do that through SimPro Manager. And I also think that one of the cool things about SimPro Manager is that if you're running an FX Pro, you can not only do the different dashboards, but with the FX Pro, you can also run all of the different settings. So all the different parameters that you can tune them while you're driving. Up next is going to be the Moza PitHouse software. And this one, if you notice, it's going to be the brightest one out of all of them. I think it's the only one that has a white scheme, and it makes things feel a lot brighter and lighter to use. The Moza PitHouse doesn't offer a whole bunch of customization that you could do with the force feedback, but still offers some parameters that you can tune. And like a lot of them, you can play around with the RGB settings on the wheel. You can add telemetry to some of those buttons. And if you're using the FSR wheel, you can switch through the different dashboards. And talking about dashboards, actually, if you're running the R16 and the R21, they have the dashboard that mounts to it. And then through the PitHouse, you can run dashboards for that as well. Up next is going to be the Asetek Race Hub. And this one I feel is like a blend of SimMagic and Moza. It's easy to use. It looks good. It has a few I guess gimmicky things where you can see the pedals moving when you're tuning them and customizing them. The software is also going to give you some calibration tools. It'll give you RGB control for, I believe, on some of the wheels that it runs. And there's also an LED strip on the pedals, so you can run that through their software as well. RaceHub will also offer the ability to run your dual clutch. So on the wheels that Moza makes with the dual clutch, you can calibrate that through there as well. Next up is going to be the AccuForce system, which runs through SimExperience. Now, I feel that SimExperience is going to be the least user-friendly option, although if you look through the system, or if you look through the software, I should say, there's a lot of customization that you could do for the force feedback. Depending on your license for SimExperience, you could also run motion components, and you can run your base shakers. So keep that in mind. Between AccuForce, the SimExperience software, and the TrueDrive software, Those are gonna be the two that's gonna offer the most customization for the force feedback. Up next is Fanatec with the Fanalabs software. And this is probably one of the most user-friendly ones. It's the one that most people have been using for quite a long time, that have been using Fanatec. And like a lot of them, it's gonna show you what devices are connected. You'll have control over the RGB colors and the telemetry. You'll have several parameters that you can tune, and you can also run that on some of the wheels that have the small dashboard for Fanatec. You can run most of those settings through their little dashboard. Finishing off the last two with Leo Bodner's SimSteering and the Thrustmaster control panel. These two are probably going to be the simplest to use, being that there's not a whole lot going on in terms of, there's only two windows that you can navigate through, and they're quite small. There's not a huge amount that you could tune, although Leo Bodner will have stuff like inertia and friction, so there are several parameters that you could tune. With Leo Bodner's system, you can also you can also assign several buttons to be able to tune your force feedback while you're driving. And then over on the Thrustmaster side, this is probably the most commercial software out there so far, I would say. And it's probably the easiest one to use. There's not a great deal amount of stuff that you could do. You can affect the overall intensity, you can affect the steering angle, but unless if you're using like a Thrustmaster SF1000, you're not gonna see a whole lot that you could tune with it. So keep that in mind if you're looking for your next steering system. There's definitely options out there for everybody, and depending on your goals for the simulator, there's definitely something out there for you. Remember that we offer support and sim consultations at velocityprosims.com. That's gonna be it for this one. Thanks for watching. See ya.